Okay, namaste everyone. Welcome to this segment of my YouTubes that go along with my newsletters. And today's topic is about being in quarantine for over 5 weeks and what's that like emotionally, and also what it's like to unwind all the stuff, all the tension that we get held with during quarantine, and just trusting in this process is as different and as unsettling as it could sometimes be. But anyway, I'm here today with my husband Clive, and he has some questions for me, and I sort of know what they are, but I don't know, he might change them. So let's hear one of them. Clive.
Namaste, Parthena.
Namaste, Clive.
This is a very tense time for a lot of people, the loss of normalcy and that sort of thing. Could you tell us how the change in schedules and the perhaps uncertainty of the situation has affected you in your mind and your day-to-day life?
It's kind of a big question, and I would say that for the most part it didn't change a lot, only because I try to stick to my routine. Getting up in the morning, getting dressed, making my bed, opening the house, lighting some incense, and just beginning the day. In that way, it's been the same. The very different part, Clive, has been your being home all day. And that's been, good and then sometimes challenging at times. And also not having the ability to plan because we really don't know what's going to happen, which is why routine is so important. So it's changed too, because now I do my yoga here, and now we order our food so it comes to us, and just trying to remain as calm as possible during this time.
And do you think for you there's been an underlying tension, perhaps not even acknowledged by the uncertainty? Has that come to the surface at all?
It has, and it has. He's shaking his head. I don't know why. It has, because frustration builds up, and I can't even imagine what it's like, people with kids home and more people, because there's a certain amount of frustration that sometimes comes with uncertainty, and that has built up. And I noticed, and I pointed this out in my newsletter, that I must have been wound pretty tight, because when I watched a movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which opened my heart, that's when everything just kind of came undone. And that's when I realized that things do work out. It will be okay. I don't know how that came about, just with the heart opening, but it's more, when we come out of the mind and tap into that heart, it's always there for us. So did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. So perhaps for people who are not able to cope as well, perhaps with a more intense situation at home, more crowded that they're not used to, maybe the kids at home trying to work and have kids and have animals all at the same time, what sort of advice would you offer them about dealing with this situation?
Well, when I counseled families during my years of teaching, I would always say get everyone into a routine, communicate with the family, and everyone has a job. And that's really important. And even with Clive and I here, I noticed that we've had to communicate with that too. I mean, in the day, Clive, with all the dishes piling up, I will say, hey, you have to do your own dishes, or I feel like I'm doing all the dishes. So, those very small things, that can bring about tension. That's small, because we don't have kids that we're tutoring. All of our kids are grown, and we don't have, generations of families around us, and those kinds of challenges. So I would say communication, and make sure that everyone has a job and that they agree to it.
And many of us are at home, away from the work environment, away from the social interaction. Maybe you're used to going out with your friends on a Friday night or a Saturday night for social activities, and denying ourselves that in the interest of social distancing and trying to not spread this virus, how can people compensate for that lack of social interaction?
Wow, that's a good question because I've been giving people advice to make sure they're connecting even through Zoom. That there's meditations that you can get online, like group meditations, or there's yoga classes or exercise classes, and that can be part of a routine where someone is joining some kind of group class on the internet. That's, some kind of connection. I've also been meeting some friends in the yard. We stay more than 10 feet apart, outdoors. That's another way. But again, I think it's getting up in the morning and making your bed, getting dressed, at least having that foundation, that base, that beginning of the day that's stable. Because the beginning of the day is like the beginning of your life, right? I mean, the sunrise is like your life is coming, your life is there. The middle of the day is, more middle age, and then the evening comes, it's like the mini death. So, starting in the morning, it's like creating a foundation for the day is really important. And if you have kids, let them sleep in maybe an hour or two, but no one gets to stay in their pajamas all day unless they're sick. So what was the question again?
How should people deal with the lack of social interaction?
Right, and that's again having some kind of routine and connection. People are connecting through Zoom. I'm doing that, and there's a lot that you can't connect to right now.
So I'm hearing you say, make your day structured rather than unstructured, because that will reduce the chaos element in life.
It does, and then give yourself that day of relaxation too. Like I still want my Sundays as a relaxing day, like I told you. We go for a walk or just enjoy the yard or just do yard work, walk around the neighborhood. But, yes, even to your week you would have some type of routine.
Well, thank you very much for your wonderful advice.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, he's shaking his head again. Okay, namaste, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.